The 3-document daily operating system that stops project tool chaos. Most small projects do not fail because you need another task app. They fail because the same decisions, files, and priorities keep getting scattered across notes, chat, email, and half a dozen task lists, and nobody preserves the final answer. You spend your day redeciding, researching, and rechecking. How to name client files. Which draft is the latest? Who owns the QA step? Which deadline moved? That repeated friction is what makes small projects noisy and brittle, not the absence of a fancier dashboard. This script shows a practical alternative, a lightweight daily operating system built from 3 simple documents: the decisions log, the work queue, and the daily review. Each has one job. Used consistently, they reduce tool chaos and create operating memory so you can stop hunting for truth and start getting predictable progress. Why more tools usually don't help tools store things. They do not automatically preserve the final judgment or the context that made a judgment correct. You can have tasks in 3 apps, notes in 2, and critical clarifications in chat. When a decision lives only in someone's head, or only in a chat thread that no one indexed, the project pays the cost every time the same question comes up again. Every repeated decision is invisible overhead. Time spent answering, clarifying, and redoing work. Tools multiply this overhead when they create more places to lose the truth. The fix isn't a bigger tool set. It's a lightweight operating rhythm that captures decisions once, shows what's actively being worked on, and forces a short daily loop to keep everything current. The 3 documents and what they do. You need 3 focused documents, not apps, not templates, documents with clear roles you use every day. Decisions log stops repeated decisions from living only in your head. Work queue shows the work that is actually active and who owns it. Daily review, the short loop that keeps the other 2 honest. Each document is intentionally narrow. Their value comes from consistent use, not complexity. They reduce tool chaos and create operating memory. They are not a promise to replace every tool you use. Document 1, Decisions log. Purpose: stop repeated decisions by preserving final answers and context. What it contains. Decision title: a short line that names the decision. Final decision: the concise answer or rule. Why? 1 or 2 sentences explaining the rationale. Affected scope: who or what this applies to. Projects, clients, file naming, pricing. Revisit date or trigger. When to review or what should prompt reconsideration. Owner: who recorded the decision or who is responsible for enforcing it. Concrete example: you decide on a client file naming convention. Client name, project, phase VFAS. Put that in the decisions log with the reason avoids ambiguous drafts across designer and reviewer, who it applies to, internal team plus client, and when to revisit after first project closes or in 6 months. Next week, when a contractor asks how to name a file, point to the decisions log instead of re-answering. Rule of thumb: capture decisions that will otherwise be redecided at least once. If you find yourself answering the same question twice, it goes in the decisions log. If a choice is a one-off tactical call with no recurring impact, note it briefly in the daily review or in the relevant task, not the decisions log. Viewer benefit: the decisions log turns judgment into reusable operating memory. It halts the cycle of repeated explanations and keeps future work anchored to prior reasoning. Document 2, Work Queue. Purpose: make active work visible without turning every idea into a task list. What it contains per entry. Title: the specific piece of work. Next action: the next physical step to move it forward, not a vague reminder. Owner or role: who will take the next action. Blocker: what prevents progress now. Deadline or review date: when it needs to be done or checked. Priority or context tag: optional, e.g., client A, billing, high, quick win. Concrete example, a freelancer has an active deliverable. Revise homepage copy for client X. The work queue entry lists the next action. Apply client feedback and send version 2. Owner, you, blocker, awaiting final client images, and review date, Thursday 10 a.m. If the blocker persists, the entry is explicit so you can decide whether to chase images or proceed with placeholder content. Rules. The work queue is not a dumping ground. It holds work that is alive. Items you intend to make progress on in the next few days. Avoid turning every idea or someday maybe into the work queue. Those go into a separate ideas list or backlog, not the active queue. Keep the next action specific and achievable in one session. Viewer benefit. You stop hunting across tools to know what matters today. The work queue gives a single actionable view of live work so you can pick one next action and move. Document 3, Daily Review. Purpose, create a short, consistent operating loop so the decisions log and work queue stay current. What it contains. A checklist for a 5 to 10 minute review. What changed since yesterday? New emails, client notes, deliverables, scope shifts. What decision needs capturing? Anything you find yourself explaining or redeciding. What work is active today? Update the work queue. What is blocked and why? Add blockers to the work queue. What can be removed or delayed? Trim entries that are not active. Quick sync. Anything that needs notifying to other people. Short update lines. Concrete example morning routine. 1. Open the daily review document first thing. 2. Scan your inbox and chat for changes. Note them under what changed. 3. For each change, decide. Does this alter the work queue or does it become a decision worth logging? 4. Update the work queue. Add new active items, note blockers, drop completed items. 5. If you capture a repeated question or rule, add it to the decisions log then and there. 6. Pick 1 to 3 visible next actions for the day and lock them in. Rule of thumb. Keep the daily review short enough to actually happen every day. If it takes longer than 10 minutes, tighten the checklist and reduce scope. Viewer benefit. The daily review is the mechanism that forces the system to breathe each morning. It keeps the documents accurate so you don't fall back into hunting. Example morning workflow. A freelancer dealing with 3 inputs. Scenario. You open your day with client feedback in email, a deadline shift in team chat, and a design question sitting in your task app. Use the system. Start with the daily review. Note the 3 inputs under what changed. For the email feedback, decide whether it changes scope. If it does, add an item to the work queue and capture any decision, e.g., accept minor copy edits without new invoice, to the decisions log. For the chat deadline, update the work queue item and set the new review date. For the design question, if the answer will be asked again, add it to the decisions log with the rationale and who it affects. If it's a one-off, add the next action to the work queue and assign an owner. Choose your top 2 visible actions for the morning and close the daily review. Result. You haven't chased 3 tools to find one truth. The decisions log prevents you re-explaining the rule. The work queue shows the active deliverables. The daily review synchronizes those things in under 10 minutes. What to do when the system starts to break. Recognize these failure signals. The work queue becomes a dumping ground of ideas and never empty items. The decisions log is ignored and judgments are still debated in chat. The daily review drags on for 20-30 minutes and feels like redesigning the system. New tools are added because the documents feel incomplete or inconvenient. Practical fixes. Clean the work queue weekly. Remove or archive items with no movement in 2 weeks. If it's important, reintroduce it with a clear next action. Shorten the daily review. Enforce a strict 5-10-minute checklist and focus only on changes and blockers. Reclaim the decisions log. When the same question appears twice, add it to the log before answering. Make the act of logging decisions part of delegation. Resist new tool addiction. Add a column or field to the existing document for the missing bit before introducing a new app. Only adopt a new tool when a document rule proves inadequate and you have a clear migration plan. Practical templates and minimal fields, ready to use. You don't need a heavy template. Use one line per entry with these minimal fields. Decisions. Log line, title, decision, why, who, revisit work, and queue line, title, next action, owner, blocker, review date. Daily review structure, date, what changed, decisions to capture, active work, pull from work queue, blocked items, actions today. Keep it plain text, a simple spreadsheet, or a single page in the Note app you already use. The format is less important than the discipline of maintaining them. Governance and small team rules. If you work with contractors or a small team, add 2 lightweight rules. If you make a decision that affects others, record it in the decisions log within 24 hours and notify affected people with a one-line update. If you update someone's active work, update the work queue and tag the owner. Do not rely on chat pings alone. These rules short-circuit repeated clarification requests and make responsibility explicit without adding meetings. When to keep using tools and when to stop. You will still use email, chat, design tools, and task apps. The 3 documents are not a claim to replace every tool. They are the operating memory that makes those tools reliable. Use tools for what they are best at: files, conversations, time tracking, detailed project plans. Use the 3 documents to capture final judgments, show what's alive, and enforce a daily review. When you integrate with tools, keep the flow simple: a hyperlink to a file, a short decision summary, a single line work entry, not a copy of everything. Quick checklist to start today. Create the 3 documents now: decisions log, work queue, daily review. Set a 10-minute daily review habit each morning. Add 1 current repeated question to the decisions log. Move your top 3 active items into the work queue with clear next actions. Enforce log before you answer for repeated questions for 1 week and observe the drop in rework. Final notes on discipline and payoff. This system's power is not in clever features. It's in the discipline of capturing decisions once, keeping active work visible, and looping daily. In practice, you'll find 2 immediate benefits: fewer repeated explanations and a single view of what actually needs attention every day. Over time, that accumulates into a predictable operating memory for your project. The 3 documents reduce tool chaos and create operating memory. They do not remove tools, but they make every existing tool more reliable because truths, final answers, active work, and short daily updates stop disappearing into chat or memory. Less noise, better systems,